My next guest, Sarah Brightman, has a rather interesting background. She was in the musical Cats in London. Then she happened to marry the composer of that musical, Lloyd-Webber. He turned around and he wrote probably one of the biggest hits currently running in the theater, Phantom of the Opera, as a starring vehicle for her, and she played that in London and in New York. Now they've teamed up with an album of songs that, for one reason or another, and we'll find out why, songs that were almost lost, some of them from plays that really never made it, and called Songs That Got Away. Would you welcome, please, Sarah Brightman.
Sarah.
Others dream of being told, and there are people who don't dream at all. Dreamers have shooting stars they chase. There are others with nightmares they must face. Only dreamers are forced to chase the dreams far away. And there are people who don't dream at all. Sometimes you need to take the time to find treasures, mountains we can climb, and maybe we dream to change the way that we feel. 'Cause to dreamers, the real world can be unreal.
Oh, that's lovely. You have a lovely voice.
Thank you.
I'm kind of sorry I missed you in Phantom. I saw it, the West Coast version out here. Not that the young lady doesn't do it very well, but I'm sorry I missed you in it.
Oh, did you enjoy it?
It's a wonderful piece of theater.
Yeah.
It's a marvelous piece of theater.
Well, it's wonderful to do. It's a wonderful role.
You can't
to
get
do.
into it. I think it's sold out for, what, a year out here or something?
Yes.
People call the box office and said, I'd like to see Phantom. And they said, will that be for next March or April or something like that? It's absolutely crazy. Now, that song wasn't Andrews, was it?
No, that wasn't. That was by Marvin Hamlisch.
Right.
It's from an album that I've just recorded and just released. And it's, in fact, lost songs from shows that
Yeah, I
have
was trying to
failed.
explain. Yeah.
And the songs are by wonderful composers, people like Hamlisch and Sondheim and Richard Rodgers. And there is one, Andrew Lloyd-Webber, on it.
I guess every song your husband doesn't write, Marvin Hamlisch will write.
Oh,
Between
yes,
the two
that's
of them.
right.
They write everything. It's incredible. But so these are songs that were originally in, say, Broadway shows, basically?
That's right. They were in Broadway shows.
Were taken out?
And they were either songs that were cut from them, or else the shows just failed, so the songs were never heard. And I did about a year and a half sort of research on it, and the American composers were really, really helpful. And I came up with these 14 songs. So it's a great album. That's the end of my promoting.
That has happened before. There have been shows, songs on Broadway, then they've come out a couple of years later and become monumental hits, but at that time, they just didn't catch on for some reason.
That's right, I know.
Now, your husband is about as prolific a composer. Now, he really started with kind of rock stuff, right? Jesus Christ Superstar, Cats, Starlight Express, and then moved into the operatic.
Well, it's funny, you say that it was rock stuff. I often think that rock music is like opera music. I don't know if you'd agree, but it has the same sort of feel to me.
Right.
So, in a way, it was like rock opera.
Right.
But he did move into a sort of more classical field.
And you met him while you were playing working in Cats?
No, I actually, the first time I met him, I was auditioning for Cats. And I was a punk rocker at the time.
A punk rocker?
Yeah.
Are they, I just came back from London,
Yes.
and I was looking around. I was on King's Row,
Yes.
where they used to hang out, and they're not quite as active as they used to be.
No,
a couple of
they're
years
not.
ago, it was outrageous in London. If you thought the Sunset Strip out here was crazy, was nothing compared to King's
No.
Row. They had hairdos and colors
That's
I
right.
have never seen
Well,
on
I
this planet before.
had a sort of Mohican, bright blue hair.
And you sat out on King's Row?
No, I didn't sit out on the King's Road. I sort of went somewhere else.
But you were a punk rocker.
But I was a punk rocker, and I went to audition for him at his flat in Eaton Square, which is sort of very la-di-da road. And I went in, and I remember sort of seeing this rather unusual-looking man in sort of old-fashioned 60s shirt. And I was looking at him strangely, and he was looking at me very strangely, thinking, my God, what has the cat brought in? And he said, well, Miss Brightman, what do you want to sing? And I said, I think I'd like to do Don't Rain on My Parade. And he went, okay. He went over to the piano, and I started to sing absolutely appallingly. And I must say, he played rather appallingly as well.
I see.
But we giggled, and I ended up singing something like Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. And after a year, I fell in love with him, and we got married, and that was really it.
Well, there's an adage that people who are married to extremely creative people are not easy to live with. Is he easy to get along with?
He's a wonderful man, but no, he's not the easiest of men to live with. He's
In what way?
well, he's a real.
He's focused on.
He's a perfectionist about his music.
Yeah.
You have to be, I think, if you are in this business and you want to succeed. And he does have a temper, as lovely as he is. And it's very funny. I have two stepchildren. They're his children, and we always know when he's going to get into a temper, because on his index finger is a very sort of hard lump of skin, and he sort of puts it into his mouth, and he goes, this music. And the children sort of run out of the room to me, and they say, Daddy's put his finger in his mouth.
So
that's his. I mean, do you do anything like that when you lose your temper? Do you have any sort of little thing?
I do this for some reason. I don't know.
Oh no! Well, I'll know next
I don't know what that
time.
means. Yeah. You have Prince Edward, is it, of the royal
Yes.
family, who works in
He
the
works
offices?
for well, it's not my husband's company, it's a public company, but we won't go into that. It is my husband's offices. Yes, we
From
do.
the royal family, Prince
Yes,
Edward. How old a young man is he?
Sorry?
How old a man is Prince Edward?
How old is
Yeah.
he? He must be 20, 22, 23,
Yeah.
around that age.
What does he
yes.
do?
He's a production manager. I think that's his right title. But he's brilliant at his job, and he's fitted in with everyone. And although he is royal, and you always
Right.
think of that, you don't call him sir, and you don't curtsy or
You
anything.
don't call him Eddie either, do you?
No, well, you do, yes.
Oh.
We call him Eddie, but it's awful, actually, because the English press...
Eddie's quite a way removed, though, from succession to the throne, isn't he?
But he's a long way from the throne,
Yeah,
so I think he actually made a really, really good choice, because he loves theatre and he wanted to get involved, so he's doing what he's doing, and he's great at it.
Yeah. It's nice to have you here. Are you gonna do something else for us?
Well, I'd like to
Is this
sit
from the
here and
album?
talk to you, but
I would too.
something.
I would too. No, I didn't do this. I didn't know. I love talking with you. Local.
You were once my one companion. You were all that mattered. You were once a friend and father. are shattered, wishing you were somehow here again, wishing you were somehow near. Sometimes it seemed if I just dreamed, somehow you would be here, wishing I could hear your voice again, knowing that I never would. Dreaming of you won't help me to do all that you dream I could. Passing those and sculptured angels, cold and warm and true, sing for you the wrong companions. You are warm and gentle. Too many years fighting back tears. Why can't the past just die? Wishing you were somehow near again, knowing we must say goodbye. Try to forgive, teach me to live. Give me the strength to try. No more memories, no more silent tears, no more gazing across the wasted years. Help me say goodbye. Help me say
Yeah. Love to hear you sing. Really. That, of course, is one of the songs. That, if you have not seen Phantom, that is one of the songs from Phantom of the Opera. Lovely. We'll take a break. We're coming right back.